My name's Chuck Downie. I'm the president and CEO of Eagle Plains Resources. We are a project generator. We're based in southeastern British Columbia.
Chuck, good to see you. It's been a couple of years since we saw you. So obviously the market's a very different place now. It's the beginning of the change in gold price, certainly, and metal prices more broadly. So look, Chuck, I think that the thing I can remember from last time out was you've kind of got an interesting business model. You come at it from 5 different angles from memory. It might be worth laying that out for people.
Sure, yeah, we're a different kind of a junior company. We have basically 5 pillars that we like to talk about. We're an exploration company, I guess, first and foremost. We're also a project generator. We are also a corporate incubator, and we have a geological contracting company, and we are also a royalty generator. So yeah, as far as I guess our core business is mineral exploration. We're a company of geologists for the most part. We've got over 100 years of experience in geology on our board, and we've been in the business for over 30 years. We're the 4th oldest company on the TSXV, and we're the oldest company on the TSXV that's never been rolled back. So we've been in the business a long time doing mineral exploration. Now we've got over 100 projects in our portfolio, various stages of development, sort of everything from grassroots to maybe some of them have a historical resource on them, maybe they have a couple of drill holes in them. We've got about 60 projects in British Columbia, and we're also very diversified in Saskatchewan. We've got about 40 projects in Saskatchewan and a few projects in the Yukon as well. Exposed to a wide range of commodities, pretty well everything that you can imagine we have in our portfolio. And we are also, I guess our core business model is built around being a project generator. So as you know, exploration is a very risky business. So what we do is we try to identify projects that look interesting. We stake them, acquire them 100%. We spend some of our own money on those projects, and then we try to move them up the line to try to find a partner to try to de-risk the project. Someone that wants to spend money on the project. We give very easy terms for a partner to get either a 60 or an 80% interest in our projects by spending, doing some exploration work, a little bit of cash and some shares. And then we give them a path to go forward to earn in on our project. So the next part of our business model is we're also a corporate incubator. One of our ways that we try to dividend money back to our shareholders is through creating spinout companies. So we have a particularly good project or a group of projects, or most recently it was a royalty spinout that we did. We take those assets out of Eagle Plains, we create a new company. The shareholders get a ratio of shares, typically 1-2 or 1-3, whatever this new company is. And it's a standalone company, so we can finance it separately from Eagle Plains if we want. Shareholders get to keep their Eagle Plains shares, finance that company separately, and then we basically build these companies to be sold. So we've done 4 spinouts, 3 of them have been sold to bigger companies, and through those 3 spinouts, we've generated about $115 million for our shareholders. And then the next pillar of our company is going to be that we're also a geological contractor. We've got a wholly owned subsidiary, Geologic Exploration, and they do work for us as well as for third parties, and they create quite a bit of revenue for us, generally between like $1 and $2 million a year. And then the last pillar is we're also a royalty generator. Through all these deals that we do, we also do property sales. We always retain a net smelter interest in all of these projects. So we were also building a portfolio of royalties in our company as well.
So a lot going on. And like I say, been around for a long time, 30, so you said the fourth?
Over 30 years, yeah.
Over 30 years, yeah, it is over 30 years.
Yeah, okay. 4th oldest listed company.
Right. So obviously with this business model, each of them, creates value in its own certain way. For you guys though, I need to try and understand it as an investor. How do I make money? So you're definitely able to kind of generate cash through cycles and feed that into the business to kind of continue doing certain things. But what are apart from the cash balance now, are there assets sitting in there in terms of stock or in some of these some of these spinouts which you haven't sold, or shares in other companies which you haven't sold yet?
Yeah, so we've got a really strong balance sheet. We've got just over 8 million in cash, and we've got about, well, as far as our Q3 2025 financials, we had about 2.1 million in shares in other companies, about 20 companies, around 20 million shares, I think. Since then, this is a forward-looking statement. Since then, we have sold one of our companies, Eagle Royalties. That was our most recent spinout. We sold that at a pretty good premium, and we kept 1 million shares in that company, and they're trading at about $1.60 now. So that's another $1.5 million that's going to be on our balance sheet when we do our next set of financials. And as well, we're also generating money through our option deals, because our option deals usually have a modest tax payment associated with them, as well as an annual share payment. So every year, more and more money goes onto the balance sheet.
Right. And so what's the kind of big growth idea here? Because you obviously you're going out and staking projects and doing prospect generation, and you may choose to kind of spin those out or sell them off in some way, shape, or form. But you hope one of them hits big. Ultimately, that's the name of the game here. And I've read in your material that you're going to get after a lot of projects this year, but it's a numbers game ultimately. How do I come back to me as the investor? How am I going to make money by investing in you?
So yeah, a couple of different ways you're going to make money from it. Through our various option deals that we've got going, and also through self-funded deals this year, we're going to be doing we'll have 7 drill programs on our projects this year. So, when you opened, you were talking about a little bit about the current commodities waves. Well, last year we worked in Eagle Plains. We worked on 22 projects, and we had about 1.3 million in expenditures. This year, we're going to work on 29 projects. We're going to have about 13 million in expenditures, and that'll include hopefully 7 drill programs. 2 of them we're going to be self-funded through Eagle Plains, okay, and the rest of them will be funded by our partners.
Okay, fantastic. Okay.
So if you're looking for value, value is going to come at the end of a drill bit, obviously for a potential for discovery. But if one of these does turn into be a big discovery, then likely we would package it up, put it into a separate company, and spin it out. So then if you're a shareholder, you're going to get, like I mentioned, we'll get shareholders in this new company, and you'll get the benefit from that.
Okay, so ultimately it's a numbers game, as all these things are. So in terms of the value creation, it's going to come through the drill bit, probably for you. $13 million, that's a heck of a lot of drilling. Are you involved in terms of, do you get management fees for doing that through your own drill company?
Oh, well, we don't own the drill companies, but yes, we do get management fees for the most of those, because generally we like to be the operator on these projects. We have the technical expertise in-house, but then as well, we're going to be using Terralogic Exploration to carry out a lot of these programs, so they'll be getting paid for that too, which is really, that's a great part of our model, is having Terralogic working for us as well as working for third parties and our option partners. I look at it like we've got 20 geologists or 20 technical people that somebody else pays their salary for 3/4 of the year. So they're pretty much free employees for us, and they're generating revenue.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about how you kind of decide with the drilling that's going on. Obviously with the JV, I get that side of things, but with the projects where you're drilling your own projects, typically, how do you decide which ones to keep and which ones to spin out or JV with?
I guess to some degree it depends on what the market's interested in, and frankly, for the last few years, we've had lots of option partners, but they've been broke. So that's been a nobody can raise any money now that money's starting to flow back in. So a lot of these projects that we've optioned out, now the partners finally have money, so they're able to advance them. But at the same time, we've got other projects that we've been developing in our pipeline of projects that are very interesting looking, that we want to spend our own money on and take a shot at having something that I do 100% of a project. Because it's great to have, in our business model, it's great to have 20% of a whole bunch of projects that might turn into something. You have a way better crack at it. But if you got something that looks really good, we're certainly willing to spend our own money to get 100% of a discovery.
Because it seems to me that the different the 5 different tracks that you got here, obviously staking and prospect generating and even exploration, they have a kind of very long lead time. The JV component where people are raising money, their money, and drilling, and you're, say, retaining 20-25% of a company, seems a good way to kind of go about spreading your risk. But the one that sort of interests me, and I'm wondering how you feel about this, do you like to kind of put a royalty on an asset and then sell it, as quickly as you can, or do you think there's going to be you are kind of moving towards a bit more of a royalty heavy business over time?
That was what we did with our last spinout, which was Eagle Royalties. So we had a bunch of royalties in our company that we kept retained interest in various projects. They were basically, we were carrying them on our books for zero. And we had one particularly good one, which was the Banyan royalty on the Ormac project in the Yukon. And it was a very, very attractive. Obviously, Banyan is getting a lot of traction. It's 7 million ounce deposit. We've got in Eagle Plains, we had a sort of a sliding royalty between 2% and 0.5%. When we spun that royalty, that was the flagship royalty. And then we created a bunch of other royalties on other Eagle Plains projects and put those in a basket. And like I said, those were worth zero. In 2025, before we did the spinout, we carried them in our books for nothing. And we sold the company last year for about $13 million. So that's another way we can create value. And within Eagle Plains, we're creating a bunch of new royalties in Eagle Plains right now. So that could be a possibility too. We could sell those royalties at some point in the future.
And you mentioned earlier, you said like it's different markets, people make different types of decisions. And for you, in terms of capital allocation previously, you may have been rewarded one way, but that wouldn't necessarily work now. And likewise, you'll be doing stuff now that you couldn't have done, 3, 4, 5 years ago. What in terms of your business, capital allocation is really important. So you've got to be efficient. So what are you going to be focused on? Is it just the drilling?
Oh no, we're going to be continuing to generate more new projects. We're very aggressive with staking both in Saskatchewan and in British Columbia. So we're always picking up new projects, and we always want to go and evaluate them to see what we have there. So yeah, we'll probably spend, I would guess this year, we'll probably spend around maybe $1.5 to $2 million on drilling, and probably another $500,000 to $600,000 on evaluating either projects that we have in the pipeline that we want to advance a bit more, or evaluating new projects. So we're constantly creating new pipeline projects. And another part of our business too is listing projects. So we try to have a few projects in our portfolio that we've spent at least $100,000 on. So if you're a CPC or a junior that wants to get listed, we've got projects that are ready to go.
Interesting. Okay, and so that's kind of interesting. Just to kind of help people understand, just again more about the way that you think. Are there any kind of spinouts in the past that you've done where you go, well, look, that's a perfect case study for how these things actually work? Obviously, you talked about, in terms of the royalty component, but I'm talking about pure exploration spinout. What are the ones that you look at and go, that's probably where we've done it perfectly?
Well, yeah, actually, guess the three we've sold, I would say, are pretty close to perfect. But the classic was Copper Canyon, which we sold to Nova Gold. That was a project that we acquired from a really good prospector for some shares and a bit of cash. And we never spent any money on that project. We never spent a nickel of our own money. We did a couple of brokers tours up there. That was about all the cash outlay we had. And we sold it for over $60 million. So that was a big win. And the other one we had was Taiga Gold, which was another great story. In Saskatchewan, when they went to the online staking, we identified a really good gold target there, and we staked it, and we continued to build around it. We did some work up there, put together a portfolio of excellent gold projects in Saskatchewan. We spun out Taiga Gold, and it eventually got taken over by SSR. And it was another big win for the shareholders too. That was a big deal.
So the idea, okay, so Taiga Gold and Copper Canyon, and the idea is to kind of repeat that success. But what happens with $60 million you get for Copper Canyon? I mean, what do you do with that money?
It goes to the shareholders. Yeah, all that money goes to the shareholders. Yeah, oh no, it doesn't go to, well, some of it would, in that case, it didn't, because we didn't keep any Copper Canyon shares. We learned from that. So now with the spinouts that we do, Eagle Plains keeps a portion of the shares, but all the money goes back to the shareholders. Yeah, so in Copper Canyon's case, Eagle Plains shareholders got Nova Gold shares. In the case of Tiger Gold, they got cash. And in the case of Eagle Royalties, they got Summit Royalties shares and was bought out by Summit Royalties. Yeah, so all that money flows right back to the shareholders. So when we talk about $115 million dividends, that's the money that the shareholders got back and Eagle Plain shareholders received.
See, that's really interesting, and I think it's important for people to understand that because if I'm looking at your share price, if I'm looking at your market cap, I'm like going, well, this company's not kind of going anywhere. So you people should think of you not just in terms of what you do, but in terms of being a dividend and cash generator for shareholders as you go along.
Oh, definitely. And it's important to remember too that, people that have been in Eagle Plains for 30 years, they've had 3 big wins in their portfolio and they've still got their Eagle Plains shares. So that's another great part of the business model. And and another thing I might point out too is another reason we're kind of different from other juniors is we don't have to issue any stock. When you look at us, we've been around for 30 years. So we got 115 million shares out. So, over 30 years, we've issued 4 million shares a year. And in the last 6 years, we've only issued about 12 million shares. And it was all flow through shares. In one case, it was because after we sold Taiga for cash, a bunch of our shareholders had a tax problem. So we created a bit of a flow through and we spent it on a drill flow round. So yeah, we don't have to issue shares. No, I don't see any reason to go to the market in the future, or not in the near future anyway.
Yeah, that's really interesting. That's really interesting. I'm glad we had this bit of the conversation. It's worth kind of maybe explaining to people this isn't your typical we're hunting for gold story. You got a bunch of stuff in there, including uranium, right?
Yeah, we're very bullish on the uranium. We've been working in Saskatchewan for probably 15 years. We've got after we're starting a drill program next week on one of our projects, Dufferin West, with our partners Refined Energy, and we've also got another option deal with Excite Resources, and they are working in the northern part of the Athabasca, up around Athabasca Lake. So I was going to just kind of summarize what our company is all about. We're a different kind of explorer, because we've got multiple revenue streams. So we've got money coming in from our exploration business. We've got from our consulting business. We've got money coming in through our option deals in terms of cash, in terms of shares. We don't really have to dilute the company. We don't have to issue any shares. And the great thing about it is we do our spinouts. Shareholders get the benefit of the spinout dividend, and then the investors get to keep their original Eagle Plains shares. And the other great thing about our business model is that we're kind of market independent. It doesn't really matter what commodity prices are. We've got lots of cash, so even when commodity prices are low, people are having trouble financing. It doesn't really matter to us because we've got lots of money in the till, so we can go out and we can acquire projects, we can work projects up, we can get ready for the next cycle.